All right, and we are live with Figment 5. Well, at least Figment 3, mostly 5, right?
That's the best part of Figment 5.
How you guys doing?
Good. Are you talking to us or everybody else?
I'm talking to everybody, and you. You're included in everybody.
I'm doing pretty good.
Doing good? Well, I'm excited. This is going to be fun. We obviously have already been doing these toy photo community challenges, which I'm loving. It's hard to believe we've already done 5 of them, right? This is the 5th one.
It is.
Had some really, really great participation, awesome shots just over that course of time. But this one I'm really excited about because it's kind of in line with like our Altermitts. It's like we almost planned it or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. First off, congratulations, guys, on the launch.
Yeah.
I'm excited about actually seeing them. And what's cool about today, and I think even yesterday there were a few people were actually getting them in hand. So that to me is like the best part about it. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, man. Seeing those stories pop up of people like seeing on people's shelves or just them holding it, it's kind of surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, man.
It's very surreal.
And obviously we've got some friends here in the chat who have helped made it possible and supported us. Gabalda, Gabe, Zach.
Yeah. Thank
Black
you, Zach.
Series. You didn't buy one, but it's okay. Fred, Machu, Charlie. Yeah. Legendary Poser. What's up, everybody? So before we get started, I just wanted to say thanks to everybody for the support. But as we were thinking about this, we were like, okay, let's continue the challenges. But as we move forward with this, let's bring in a guest judge. And I think we all kind of agreed, like we've got kind of a short list. And this person, I mean, it's not a surprise. I don't know why I'm talking like a surprise or anything. But Red Dog 5, our friend Paul, has been part of the community for as long as I can remember. And so it just was fitting that he be our guest judge for this competition. And, he knows all 5 of us. And I don't know, it's just he's such a great guy, such a really pivotal part of the community. And I'm excited to see which photos he chose and which ones that resonated with him. For everybody who's going to join us, we're actually going to end up doing 2 different streams, or 2 reviews of the photos. This one's going to be Paul's, the top 10. and ultimately the winner of the challenge. But then we're going to jump on again and go through all of them, because there were a lot of ones that we just wanted to make sure we talked about, because there's some amazing entries. So just so you know, if you don't see your photo up here, be sure to check back, because we will be trying to go over all of them as much as we can. So anyway, I think let's go ahead and bring Paul on.
Yeah, let's
Ready
get
to
him
get started?
in here.
Hey guys,
There he is.
Hey.
how you
Hey,
doing?
man.
Hey, Paul.
Hey,
How are you?
what's up,
Man.
gentlemen? Good evening.
It's good to see you, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, like I said earlier, we've known you for years, really.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of if you want to go back and talk about the toy community and like the OGs, like you're right there with the OGs. And I don't know if that's good or bad, because it means we're old. But either way,
Yes, getting up there.
either way, you've been here, I would say, as long as we have, from what I can recall. But yeah, why don't you real quick just kind of introduce yourself? I think most people here probably know who you are, but introduce yourself. Let us know, as little or as much about Red Dog 5 and about you personally.
Yeah, will do. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, I think it's been about 8 years. I started in 2015, but 2016 on Instagram. But yeah, and I saw you guys pretty much straight off the bat, and was very interested in your work and whatever. But back then, everybody was kind of learning, and everyone had their training wheels on.
Yeah, right.
And there was a few kind of OGs, if you like, in the community where we were looking up to, saying, wow, this community, this thing we do can be elevated.
Right.
But when we all started, we were like, well, let's not jump the gun, let's just dive into this. And then it's just a lot of trial and error. And so yeah, I really enjoyed that. And then just seeing you guys grow and how you've formed this community, the 5 that you are now. But it was just a gradual beat, if you like, going up the scale, how you did it. So I always admired that. I loved it. You're always for the community, and yeah, that's what I'm about too. But yeah, my background is to say, I'm on Instagram. And I think as well we connected because we were in a few of the early competitions. Got selected for those, and you were very kind. You went to the Comic-Cons and saw my pictures actually on the wall, on the Marvel wall, and things like that.
Try to share them with everybody who couldn't make it too. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it was kind
cool.
of very surreal at the start. It was kind of too much almost, like, because I'd only just started and a lot of things happened quickly, and it was like kind of overwhelming. I mean, I embraced it, and I was extremely grateful, but it just was, I thought, wow, it's almost like, wow, well, where can it go from here? Does it just keep ramping up? And then we kind of like then had a bit of a lull, and then of course 2020, I think 2020 like crushed a lot of everybody's dreams.
Oh yeah.
and money wise as well, because I think we all got stuck with the pre-order thing, and it just went out of control. And then, well, I mean, look behind you.
I know, right?
we have a problem. A plastic.
I was gonna say, just over the course of time, you sharing your collection with me and like all the customs you've done.
Yeah.
I was like, man, I just want to go in there. I could spend hours and hours just looking at all the stuff in your room, because you've got some great,
Thank you. Yeah.
Collection. Yeah.
Yeah, I love working on custom. The irony is a lot of this stuff's never been photographed. That's the criminal part of it. I've got so many great things to show off, and I've got to just get to it.
That's like the life of a collector / toy photographer, I think. I keep getting stuff, but we don't like, oh no, I'll shoot it. That's why I'm going to justify buying it. But
I feel like we don't really see a lot of like toy photographers' collections. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think a lot of people really display their stuff either. I mean, maybe they do, but I know for me personally, it's like I have bins of just toys in like plastic bags, right?
Yeah.
And like that's the way I store them. But then I do have stuff that I display. But yeah, like people, like Paul, who have an awesome display with like really cool posters and artwork as well. Like, I think you should make like a video on that and put it on your channel
probably
or
should.
something.
Yeah, it goes all the way around the room. The whole room is, you're right. It's taken a long time to do this too. Like, it takes time to curate. I think you mentioned it, Jason, on time about curating. And so I've been weeding out the things I don't want, and I've just got the absolute things that give me joy, you know what I mean, and pleasure. And so that's where I'm at now with the collection. Yeah. It took a while to get there, though. It does take time.
It does. It is. It's funny. Machu Toy said he feels attacked about having a lot of stuff that you don't get shot or photographed, but it is cool. He made a point of like, what's great about how Instagram has grown over the years is like you can now post, you can do stories, you can do reels. So it's kind of nice that you can just, oh, hey, I got something
Yeah.
I made a toy run. I want to take a picture and share it on the story. That's kind of nice, but still, it's overwhelming. So, yeah.
Man.
Do you guys want to ask him anything before we
No,
jump into the competition?
I know Paul just mentioned that, you guys were part of the first, like, well, I don't know if it was the first Hasbro toy pick. Was it the first one? Because was it in 2017?
Yeah, they were the. Well, mine was the Marvel in 2017. I think 2016 was the very first one with Johnny and
okay.
and I believe
were you
guys
part of that one, Paul, or no?
No,
You were
no,
just
I
part of
came
the
on
Marvel one.
I got the Marvel one the year later, and then there was a Star Wars. I think me and Zay were in the. There was a Star Wars one, wasn't there? It was Han Solo, I think, or something. I can't remember now. But
yeah.
And then there was Star Wars Celebration, and then there was loads. It just kept coming. I was like, it was insane. Yeah. And then Toy Fair and all kinds of stuff.
That's such a throwback, back then. I remember seeing, well, I guess it was Jason, Zay, Spencer, Jax, Johnny, a couple other people in the community, getting that opportunity and being like, "Dang, man, that's so cool." And
it was amazing. Yeah, it was amazing. And again, it came out the blue. There was no rhyme or reason to it. People always ask, "Well, how did you get that?" It was just a random DM of this particular company, and I almost pinched myself, and I remember saying at the time, I remember calling them. I got their number and said, "Is this for real? Is this legitimate?" I'm very, very skeptical about things online, so I was like, "This can't be real," but it was. Yeah.
And
that was such an amazingly fun time back then. Kind of the beginning of all of it, toy photography, and starting to get little jobs with the toy companies and the figures. It's it's changed a lot since then, but that was I have lots of good memories of the beginning.
I would love if they would kind of do it again, but start using new artists and start kind of fresh and get a different perspective. I think that would be amazing. Yeah. Open that up. Anyway, that's beyond this.
Was that the first time that they did that? Hasbro, were they the first ones to kind of
pretty much
jump into the community and kind of get people involved? That's
take advantage of free photos. Yeah. No, just kidding.
Well, somebody was paying attention. Yeah.
Yeah, the toy photography hashtag is free advertisements for all the toy companies. Right? So
yeah. All right, let's jump into it. Paul, first off, did you have fun going through all the submissions? Was it overwhelming?
There was so many, yeah. And I don't know if you notice as well, like on Instagram at the minute, there's a massive Spider-Man influx, obviously with the movie, and so there's a lot of accounts doing it anyway. So there's the plethora of stuff out there. It's incredible, and it's amazing how one single character can be approached so many different ways. I always find that interesting about Spider-Man. You think it would be boxed in with because we know the history and the lore, but no, it was incredibly difficult. Hats off to everybody who did it. I did choose 10, but it was purely from an artistic point of view. It's not meant to a slight on anybody. I don't like doing this to upset anyone, but it was just to pick my like my opinion is subjective, like everyone else's. So, and that's what I love about the toy community in general. Everything's subjective. We all like certain things and don't like other things, but someone else loves that thing we don't like. So it was tricky, but at the end of the day, you've got to make a decision, and I chose it through. When you see them, I can explain why. But yeah, it is difficult.
Yeah,
so all right, four photos, right, as the top 4, and then 6 other people.
Exactly right. I had a late submission, and I'm kind of upset it didn't make the top 10. But
I'm sorry. Hey, mine didn't even make it either.
He probably felt like it was cheating to include yours on.
Kind
stream.
Yeah.
Well,
we basically were like, Paul's is too good, so we have to ask him to be a judge, so he can't win. Yeah, it was amazing, like just getting these entries in. There were so many awesome ones, and what's great, kind of like to your point, there's a lot of new, not a lot new, but there's a lot of photos of Spider-Man. And what's cool is because Spider-Verse and the comics have really expanded. It's so fun getting these different types of stories with different types of spider people and storylines. And obviously with Spider-Verse, it's just busted that wide open. So I'm excited that there's such diversity and such variety in those stories, but then also in like the toys that we're getting. I've got most of the Hasbro ones, and I'm like, you guys need to make more, keep making more. So anyway, so real quick, Paul, we'll get started in just a sec. Tell us kind of what you were looking for in terms of like criteria. So this is, for the most part, we let you kind of take we wanted your opinion because we're going to go through and we're going to kind of talk through all of them too.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you've got your own kind of perspective on what you were looking for. So tell us kind of what the criteria was that you were going off of as you were choosing your top 10.
Yeah. So I'm basically more wowed by the artistic approach and the that side of it, and then maybe the story second. Technical ability, not so much, because I'm always thinking if the story's strong and the image is strong, that's what I was looking for. And I was looking for something a little bit different as well, a bit outside the box. I'm obsessed with details, as you know, that's kind of my thing. So I was just looking for details, things that stood out, and that was it really. And just try to keep it simple, but almost when you see the choices, I feel like they all have a bit of a theme going through them all.
Sure.
But yeah, so that was basically it. Just let everyone know I can't see the feed of anyone's, so I'm not ignoring anyone.
Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay, well let's get started. So with that, we've got your number 10 pick, and it is by Nimbo Reviews Everything. So obviously he and a bunch of the other guys, the Toy Daddies, they've got their own channel. You got to check them out. Put out great content very regularly. But Miles, I love Miles. So tell us about what you loved about this shot.
Yeah, well, first of all, the pose straight off the bat. You've got it coming right at you. It's in the camera. It's beautifully focused. Like that draws your eye immediately to the the uniform. I love the black and red. And then the figure in the back, the way the movement, and it's kind of subtle, and I just love the. It's like ghost-like. There's so much movement in the picture, so I enjoy the movement. I like the offsetness of it as well. I'm into that too, where you kind of offset the person's eye. Yeah. And then I just love the blurred graffiti in the background. It's just straightforward and simple. It hit me. It's a good strong image. Yeah. Yeah,
I agree. Is this the I'm trying to remember. Is this a Sentinel, Miles, or is this
No, that looks like the new. What actually?
Or is the new one? I can't tell. I'm sure Machu can tell us. But.
Yeah, I think that's the new SHF, right?
Oh yeah, it would be because it's got the red.
Yeah, the design of the suit.
Nice.
It's almost like the night suit, the 2020 suit, isn't it? Similar.
Oh, you know what? I think he actually got it from Machu, SHF version. Is that the one? Because he was asking for it on their stream, and I think Machu got an extra.
Really?
17 of them, and was just selling them. So.
Yeah, I like how the foot is up in like the corner. I don't know. It's something about it. I don't know. It's like kind of like forced perspective a little bit. I mean, if you had like a wider lens or something and you were able to go up closer, you would be able to emphasize that, exaggerate it a little bit more. But I kind of get that like feeling from just how I guess they composed it and how they posed the figure in the shot.
Yeah. That's an extreme set too, right? Probably.
Yeah.
I think so.
It looks good. I also like an image where you want to know what the next image is going to be. So say it's like a comic book. I like the idea of that. And what's next? You know what I mean? So it evokes that.
I was going to say, like, it's cool with dioramas and stuff that can kind of build out the scene. And this, I think it's an extreme set, like Alleyway or something. What's really cool is, like, when you see those in person, like, the quality is really great, but you can still tell that it's, it's just folded over, but high quality print and all, like, great product. Yeah. But it's just interesting when you see it in the background of an image. It's hard to tell if that's actual, like, full, like, 3D, like, physical geometry, or because of the shadowing stuff that they kind of design into it. Yeah, it just kind of like feels very dimensional. So
yeah,
you don't have.
There was no like behind the scenes with this photo. People not following the rules. Like, what's going on here?
No, well, I didn't. So I didn't pull up for this. I just did the final shot. If you want to, like you or Zay, if you guys want to pull up their shot and see if there's any BTS, we could share that too. But
it doesn't look like it. I don't see any error or carousel, unless that stuff like the UI disappears, right? Maybe.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. I think. Yeah.
Either way, I really like this pick as well. And Yimbo's a great guy. Definitely deserves the shout.
I don't know if I know Yimbo, but shout out to Yimbo.
Yeah. All right, so that's number 10. Number 9. Oh my goodness.
Hey, is that Machu Toys photo?
It is Machu Toy, and he can actually tell us a little bit about it too in the chat.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here.
There is a lot going on.
It's fantastic.
Oh, look at those Power Rangers on the shelf, dude. That is freaking sick.
Yeah.
Is that like the Super Impulse mini Power Ranger figures?
Probably. This is cool. So real quick, I'll just say, when I saw this shot, I was like, that's awesome. I love that he pushed all the details, pushed the actual diorama, but also with Spider-Punk. I've been wanting to do some stuff like that too, where you're just really playing with that paper kind of poster style for his character. But he did it, and he did it like it's so cool. It's beautiful. So nice job on that, Machu.
This is like a super unique, like, sort of photo in the sense that, like, you know, is it isometric, like where it's at that angle, like that 45-degree angle, and you're looking down? Like, I don't think I've seen anyone kind of like show the outside parts of like a diorama, how it's contained into like a cube almost, and you're looking down into it. That could be a really cool series, actually.
That is cool. So, Paul, what was it that stuck out other than like a lot of the things we're drawn to already?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there's so much detail. I mean, I'll go back to the detail in a minute, but it's just that it's the color choice, the palette of the colors that got me. I mean, that might have been deliberate, or it's just the way it felt. But I love the way that the poses are incredible. All the poses are strong, solid. You can feel the noise. So I love it when photographs, there's a volume in silence. If that makes sense. There's this noise coming. I can feel the deck spinning. I can feel that, you know, the trumpet going, the Dwayne, everything. I love Marshall. The fact it had Marshall stacks. I'm into heavy rock, and as soon as I saw those, I'm like, I'm in on that alone.
That's awesome.
And then, like you said, Richie, the detail in the back there, you know, it's like all our rooms. We all have those little things hanging around in rooms, those little extra pieces and things that you like. And I know it's just fun. It's so much fun. And then I saw the behind the scenes, the way they did it. And then, Spider-Verse right there. It's right in your face. You know, it's just, it's just, it is what it is. It's brilliant. Yeah, it's just fantastic.
That would be an interesting band to hear.
Yeah, definitely.
Super charming photo. I mean, one thing that jumps out to me is just like the composition. It's kind of simple overall, but then, you know, when you try to do shots like this, how challenging it is to get like each pose in there. They're all doing their thing, and then even all the detail around it, and to work with the angle, it's such a pain. So I mean, it's super impressive just to see it all come together in the final.
Yeah, Machu said he had light painted, probably just to fill in some of the shadows or things like that. But that on the BTS using the Spider-Man game on, I don't know if you just had screen capped, I'm trying to remember, but put that in the background outside. That is really, really smart.
He screen capped like the New York City buildings and stuff
from the game.
Nice.
Yeah, that's brilliant, dude.
Yeah,
love it. And then it looks like this is D. Blake's Makes, maybe little sign. You might be able to tell me. I'm not quite sure.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Really cool stuff here.
I love the practical effects too. You know that's excellent.
Yeah.
This I think towards the end of that movie. Say, did you watch this movie yet?
I haven't seen it yet.
No.
Oh my gosh, dude! What are you doing on this stream right now? Go to the movie theater.
How do you boot people?
I was gonna say
I have the power to do that, actually.
All my local friends here, they went and saw it without me. I wasn't able to go, and then I haven't had a chance. So
dirty,
rough.
I'm gonna end up going by myself at like 11 o'clock at night one of these days and watching it. So.
Good. Well, actually, you might. Yeah, you're exhausted, so maybe you should wait until you're rested up.
Yeah,
it's
I do really want to see it though.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Me too.
The reason why I asked was, or just in general, like this. If I could put like the soundtrack to that movie, like to this photo, it would be perfect. Like specifically towards the end of the movie, where it's like all these people's like themes. If you go back and listen to it, I don't know if it's like right before the credits or during the credits or something like that. Like you hear all these different elements of like the different Spider-Men that kind of come into like the theme song. So it's like you'll hear, I think Gwen's drums like come in a certain spot, and then like Miles's theme and all this other stuff. I don't know, but if you go back and really pay attention to it, like you can hear how it like builds up. It's cool.
That's the song he tried to put on the BTS video too. So.
Oh, nice. There it is.
Nice. Well, Machu, always beautiful work.
Yeah.
I love all the effort too. So it looks really nice. All right. So coming in at number 8.
Sick.
Look. And our friend Danny May, 88LBC, also just jumped in the stream. So welcome.
Good timing.
Yes, perfect timing. So, all right. This one was another standout for me.
Oh, Tom is here.
I was seeing it too. Yep, Tom. You jumped
Hi, everybody. Hi, everyone.
Okay. Yeah, just get started because there's a lot of really cool things to say about this one. Hit us, Paul.
Yeah. So straight off the bat, it's pure action and it's pure noise, aggression, everything you want. A lot going on. There's obviously a massive fight and shoot or whatever's going on, but all the little shards of glass perfectly placed. The fire or whatever, not quite sure what's going on in the window. Explosion. Yeah. It's gotta be something like that.
There's no way this is practical glass, right?
Yeah. I don't know. You never know. I would definitely attempt it.
Really impressive.
But no, it's wonderful. It's just like I say again, simple composition, but just effective, and you can imagine the next scene. It makes you want to know what else is going on and what happened that led up to that. It's asking me lots of questions, so I love it for that reason alone.
Yeah.
It's like you can hear that sound when everything goes slow-mo, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. Action-packed and still.
Yeah.
It's funny. That's what I was thinking too. That's the mind of an animator.
Yep.
Sound design.
Yeah, this is awesome. It's such a simple. So looking back at the setup, I've got it pulled up, but it's Danny May, 88 LBC. Like I said, we don't have all the BTS on here because it was a little difficult to share some of them. But if you go through and check them out, this one is like a really simple setup, just kind of like the building. And then you've got, it looks like it's cotton or like paper. Yeah, I think it's cotton. And then the light kind of coming through. Unfortunately, no actual glass that I can see from the BTS because that would have been epic. And then also it looks like a printout of the city back there. So I love the practicality of a lot of this. I love that explosion there. And it's cool because there's so many shots where we see Spider-Man being very dynamic. Even if it's like there's an explosion, it's like he's running away from it or something. Where this looks like it caught him off guard.
Yeah.
And I think that's really makes this shot interesting and kind of compelling. And like you said, like in terms of like story, like, okay, who did this? What happened? Did you leave the gas on, the stove on?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and just that, I would say from a just strictly like design perspective, you see kind of like this triangular shape where you've got the explosion and you've got kind of the bottom and they all kind of meet towards his head and kind of compositionally, it kind of draws your eye to his head and like that bright spot on the eye too. It's really cool.
Yeah, and that slight foot blurring as well, the movements there and he's off, like you say, he's off guard, which it's fantastic. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Do you guys have this figure? This is the is the original Mayfix one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the first like color version of it, I think, because I think they reissued it, but they had like the most recent one was like a lighter blue, like more classic, and then I think the one before that was like the comic version of it
with the
like
black,
the 2D
shading.
like look. Yeah, I really like that one.
Recent one with the classic, like the brighter blue. I love that figure.
Yeah, I love that one too.
To work off of. Yeah. So anyway, love this practical setup. Beautiful shot. Great pick. I can see why you chose that one. That one definitely stuck out to me as well. So nice job, Danny May. Excellent work as always. Okay, so number 7.
Yeah.
Peter B.
So
Parker.
Another friend of the 5. Lost in translation photo.
This is great.
Jules does great work, and she's submitted to most of our competitions so far, and I know she usually will get a shout out because the stuff she does is really, really wonderful. So tell us about it.
Yeah, again, just jump straight at you, doesn't it? The set's brilliant. I love the simplest stuff. It's classic, with the emptiness of it, and then just the the effect is just insane. And I don't know, it's just wonderful, really. Everything about it. It's just I'm kind of lost for words on it. I just like it so much. I can't even put my finger on it. It was one of them ones where I just thought that's the kind of image I'd print to have on my wall or whatever. It's just it's just great. Almost like an X-ray. I know it's something about it. It's unique. I think it's different.
Yeah,
I haven't seen
going for the burger.
That's really clever. It also again, going back to like these story beats and like what is the character, obviously with Miles being able to kind of do different things like kind of disappear and like the electric shot and all that stuff. It's just cool. Like that's a really great way of thinking like, hey, if I can turn invisible, what can I do? And instead of being like a superpower is like, oh, I can go steal a burger from Peter or something. I just love that train of thought. And then, it's cool because also in the BTS, she's got everything's set up, but Miles is actually in the shot as well, and then goes through and just composites and makes it look like it's that kind of translucent effect. But the Dio is awesome too. I don't know where that came from.
The Dio is really cool.
Yeah. The title, the caption is, can a guy finish his 20-piece in peace? It's so good.
Not on the subway.
Spencer Scott. He gets Spidey figures too, right? Doesn't he?
I know he has the Mezco Spider-Man.
That's right. He's got the Mezco.
I'm not sure if he gets other ones.
Same with Jax.
He has a few. I think he's
1/6, right?
Mezco and 1/6. I don't know, but
maybe not.
He definitely has like the Homecoming Mezco one, and then he also has like the SH Figure Arts.
Yeah,
Spider-Man.
This is the Sentinel Peter Parker.
Yeah, I want this one.
This one, I picked it up. It's amazing.
Is it a lot better than the Mofex one?
It looks amazing.
Because I have the Mofex one, and I feel like I'm cool with that one. That's why I didn't get this one.
I prefer Sentinel. They're a little slower in terms of like what they're producing. These clothes didn't come with the figure, but I really do like. They're a little bit more stylized, so I think it's worth picking it up. And also being able to kind of take the different versions, and like the head sculpt from the Mofex one is pretty good. And so swapping that, or actually I would argue that the Hasbro Peter Parker head sculpt is the best out of all of them, believe it or not. And then putting that on the different bodies, kind of kit bashing it, you can get a really, really great looking Peter. So yeah. Tom likes it. So
Tom says it's way better, like way better.
Yeah. Hasbro
like all caps way
all around, right, Chase? Just every aspect of it is better.
The Hasbro one?
Yeah,
because you can buy 10 of them for the same price. Great figures. I just love. It's fun. Like I've been wanting to pick up all the Spider-Man figures now, just because I'm kind of just back into it with all the Spider-Verse movies that have come out a couple years, and just all the different stories. And we're just getting more stuff. I'm like, keep buying more Spider-Man. Yeah. Lost in translation photo. Amazing jewels. All right. So
awesome.
That's number 7.
Quality account. Yeah.
Number 6. Oh, look at that.
Hey, it's Viral Dwayne.
Mr. Viral Dwayne. It doesn't feel fair putting Dwayne in there, but
I don't know why I called him Viral Dwayne, honestly. Like I just started calling him that during the stream, and I don't know if he appreciates that or not, but it's gonna stick.
Yep. So obviously I think when we saw this initially, like everybody, we kind of just individually like gasped, because everything that Dwayne puts up there is like, holy crap, how in the world you like just keep upping yourself and just doing more and more. You're Dwayne, you're amazing. You are the GOAT. And when it comes
miniatures
to like
and
miniatures
accessories that he makes from all these, like I can't
stunning.
imagine, because like he could just keep reusing them, you know, like it's not like he has to. I mean, he could add more, and which he probably did for this one, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
Dwayne's level of effort he puts into everything that he does is just insane.
Yeah.
Insane. It's truly inspirational, Dwayne. It's freaking amazing.
I got a question for Dwayne. Dwayne, is this like did you go into like a record store or anything to kind of get inspiration for the layout and the way things look in that store? Because I really love like the back part of that that he went through and actually made too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's perfect. I mean, I grew up in an era when record shops looked like this. You know, this is exactly how they were. Sometimes smaller, but I love the T-shirts on the wall that I've got.
I know that's a great touch.
The
different like posters up there too.
Yeah. But what's interesting, I think Dwayne's pushed himself on this shot as well, because his depth at the back of the shot, like Richie said, that's something different I've not seen from him before. So it's kind of interesting how he did that, to get that depth going on. And then he always does well. I just think he's the true definition of genius. I know it sounds weird, because in terms of he makes this building look simple. Like he builds these things, you watch him do it, and he does it in real time, and how is this possible? You know, you'd be fiddling around with this for decades trying to get this to look like this. He just has it down, doesn't he? He's a machine.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's wonderful.
And what's great is like even just seeing the behind the scenes on a lot of his shots, just the details that the camera doesn't even see. Like I guarantee that Miles there's a specific record that he's thumbing through. Like every single one of these, I guarantee the record means something to that character.
Yeah.
Like, and just that level of detail is really inspiring. And like, man, I need to be doing more with my shots.
Not only the character, but like to Dwayne probably, right? Like I feel like when you're putting all these little details in, like, and what's actually being shown in the camera too, like those records that are facing the camera, like I feel like those are intentionally like put there for. I mean, he could probably answer that, but it's. I think when I'm taking a photo too, like in setting up a scene, I'm thinking about that in that moment, you know, like it's kind of like when you're in the zone and you're just like, okay, what do I need to put here? Like what could be cool here? And so I think sometimes that like level of detail is sort of invisible because it looks so realistic that you're just like, oh, you just go with it because it's like that's what it should look like, but you forget like these little intentional choices that the artist actually did to create that piece.
It's just thinking about how long it would take to set this up is like gives me a headache.
But there's also there's a theme to his pictures, isn't there? Over the years, you know, it links. Each one links. I find them interesting that way. I think it's like you say, it's a reflection of him. His personality really comes through on each picture. It's rooted in what he's into, definitely.
Ever since he got that 3D printer, it's like it's changed
Game
the
over.
game for
and
him.
Photo scanner too, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the photo scanner.
Yeah.
Or not photo scanner, the actual 3D scanner, I should say. It's crazy.
But I guarantee if we tried to do this, it would be a lot harder than it looks. He makes it look so easy. He really does. That's his genius for me.
He definitely makes it look so easy. I think too, one thing I love about Dwayne is that he, at least maybe because he just does make it look so easy, it seems like he doesn't get stuck in kind of analysis paralysis. He probably does, because I think everyone does. But, you know, he's able to just maybe not be a perfectionist in some areas, and he gets it done. And it's like, to me, it's really impressive how he's able to build out these huge sets. But he doesn't worry so much about certain things that, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but I love that he just gets it done and he builds out these amazing sets for one photo, and he puts in so much detail where the detail needs to be, and he gets it done and he busts it out. It's truly.
I know exactly what you mean. Like as an artist, and you know, since we do this also as our careers too, it's really easy to get lost in the details, or like this has to be perfect. You're like, no, it doesn't. You just need to get it to the point where it's better than average. Like you need to obviously focus and do the best you can, but also I'm a perfectionist in some way. And so a lot of times that can cripple me from actually producing anything because I've got all these different ideas of what I want to do. I mean, you guys know, we've talked enough. And so, like you said, he's just able to really balance that and say, all right, well, you know what? I've got these materials on hand. I'll just make it and I'll go for it. And I'm sure there's part of him, he might feel differently than like how we're perceiving it, but it's impressive to actually just get it done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Beautiful shot. I mean, we always expect amazing work from Dwayne. So
the other thing from Dwayne is like his whole documenting process. I feel like he was one of the first, if not the first, that I actually saw where you know it's not just like a photo or just like a simple video. It's like you're actually showing the process of like how it was built, you know, intentionally, you know, to showcase like the thing, and then showing the final like photo at the end, but in video form as like a reel, or not a reel at the time, because I think he was creating content for TikTok, but you know, essentially translating over to reels and it being successful on reels as well. But
Dwayne could teach a master class.
Yeah,
sure.
I think so, because I think a lot of people can learn from that, right? It's like you're just kind of staying ahead and thinking about how certain platforms might get your content, like to get, I guess, more of like an organic following, just because like that's the new thing, you know. There's this other app that people are using, but you know, some people could just like be like, that's the newest thing, I don't want to do that, blah blah blah. But then the people who are like interested and want to know like what that's about, like I'm sure that's kind of like the mindset that Dwayne has. And it's a good thing, I think.
One thing he does, which is good for beginners or anybody actually, is fill the frame out with everything that, you know, that might not be seen by the camera. And then once you put the camera down, your eye might not like what you're seeing, but once you get that's why a lot of directors do that thing. They're framing the, you know, the subject matter, and that's when they can see the gold. Then you don't always see that from above or from initially from your own eyes. So it really helps to get the eyepiece of the camera down. I'd give that, you know, a piece of advice. Just look at it through that little square and see what you can get.
And also not being just laser focused on what the camera is seeing, but also building out that rest of the that's a really great point. Great work, Dwayne, as always. So beautiful shot, great choice. So now number 5. Let's see who it is. Oh,
the Corel Pulse.
Corel Pulse.
Is it Corel?
Yeah. Another part of
a lot going on.
Part of the toy community for a while too. Corel Pulse, amazing work. This is cool. I love seeing all the different, you know, again, we're talking about Spider-Verse. Didn't have to do multiple spider people in the shots, but seeing this just reminds you of like just how many figures there are, and this is like not even scratching the surface.
Yeah. There's, in fact, you keep noticing them as you go into the picture. There's more and more pop up. That's kind of the fun of the picture. I love that about it. And also the iron building, the one in New York that they did use in the movie for the daily, you know. So yeah, it was brilliant.
There's a lot going on here, but then also in terms of like the compositing and all that, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Photoshop can get you pretty far these days in terms of like if you're going to try to, you know, select the subject, but there's still a lot of things you have to know how to do and be proficient at. And obviously with this, it's a great display of a Corel Pulse and just the ability to do a great composite.
Yeah, and it nails the Spider-Verse, you know, the whole thing that represents. So, yeah, I just love it. So all the time's converging. It's almost like a Doctor Strange movie type thing. You just see like everything converging. It was interesting. Or Inception or something like that. I love it.
Yeah. Really like the color of the sky too. It's really beautiful. Sometimes there's scenes that like it's fun that with color you can make something feel very like vibrant and young or action packed. This feels kind of, you know, obviously it's like evening, so it feels a little bit relaxed. There's a lot going on, obviously, but then the way you like take the photo and, you know, just kind of do some post processing or like editing the photo with, you know, making it feel like a little bit more moody, or maybe it's all black and white, can really change the overall perception of like how the viewer sees the image and how they feel about it. This is just I like this. It feels different versus like something that feels very dramatic. A lot of the Corel Pulse's work is also like there's some really heavy shadows in some of it. So I'm kind of looking at it right now, and so this is kind of a nice, like bright, kind of vivid shot. I really appreciate.
Yeah, it's very pleasing to the eye. I think it's nice to look at, and I think similarly, kind of to like Machu's shot with just a lot going on and a lot of characters, it's a challenge to, even though this is a composite, once you start throwing in so many different characters and trying to give everyone their own space and not make it look too crowded, it's challenging. And so I think you did a great job here.
I feel like with digital composites, like there's so much consideration beforehand that you have to, think about, like, where do you expect like certain, like, I guess in this case, Spider-Man, like where he'll be in the photo, and then taking the right lighting to match where you're going to put it in the shot and all that stuff is like, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's funny too. I think in his behind the scenes, he has kind of a sketch he did.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Which is super helpful too. And such a good for something like this to kind of sketch it out so that you can plan that kind of stuff, the lighting.
Yeah. Because if you don't have them in the right position, it doesn't work. Like, you'd have to get it right. Also, I like the perspective of who's took the photograph. It looks like it could have been a Peter Parker on the ground.
Yeah.
Like, taking the actual picture in his photography mode, So
he should have been taking a selfie with the guys behind him, That'd have been
right.
Does a photo like this, like, do you start with the background photo then? I forgot. Yeah. I know Mig, who was amazing at compositing, like I think he did like an interview, and I don't remember what he said, like what he started with. Do you guys remember, or do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I feel like he said I think he does kind of like, he sees a background photo and then he's like, his mind starts going of like, what can I do with this?
For some reason, I don't know why, I thought it was like the opposite that he did. Like, he takes the photo and he's like, I'm gonna find a background image for this or something. I don't know.
Probably not speak to him because I don't know.
It's probably a little bit of both, I would think. But like for this, for instance, it's like Jace started with the photo and then, like you said, sketched out like, okay, I'm gonna put the what if Batman, the what if Spider-Man here, it's black spider suit here, fantasy one here. And so that's a really great way to like plan. And like you said, Richie, knowing, okay, if the figure's going to be here, it's going to be up top. You got to light it a certain way. That's just so freaking, it's so time consuming. So I appreciate the effort that goes into this.
Even using like a digiorama, right? Like that's what I have to take into account too. Like, cause I start with the background and I see like, how do I have to light this thing for the figures? And does it make sense with my diorama that I have and all this stuff?
That's why you just go outside and, put a figure in the dirt right in the middle of the day. Don't have to worry about
I told you, man,
old school.
I can't.
Stays old school.
Take those 3-hour work days.
There's too many ticks around here.
Oh, my God.
I told you.
What's impressive, too, I mean, if you look at his behind the scenes, too, I think I didn't even realize that he did a lot of work on the background, too, and, like, swapping out the sky and adjusting the lighting and adding in signs. And so it's not even just putting the figures in. But he did a lot of work even to the background. It's real impressive.
Very proficient with Photoshop, for sure. Awesome stuff. Great number 5 pick. Let's move on to number 4. We're getting close. All right, number 4 is Tiny Epic Photos.
Dan,
Mr. Dan. Any one of these could have all been number 1. To be honest, all 10 weren't my number 1s. It's just that you have to put them in an order. So I feel bad putting a number on all these.
That's what we're like, Paul, you're going to choose.
Yeah. I'll take the blame. I bet I'll get a load of hate DMs there. Right, but no, Dan. We know Dan very well, all of us. But this is such a striking image. He's very good at doing this. He's always good at getting that in-your-face type image, and it's just brutal. And it's a brutal image. It's got everything. And again, you might argue not as fancy as all the other ones, but this is like what you call a classic impactful, comic book type shot. To me, it ticks all the boxes, and love the lighting, and that's it really. It was again just simple critique, but for me, it's just got everything you need, and that guy's definitely getting a pasting.
He's really been using this lens a lot in a lot of his recent shots, and it's a really cool lens. I mean, you get like that very up close but very distorted, like fisheye almost.
Yeah,
so
like
cool.
Look to it.
It's fun seeing other people shoot with different lenses like that I don't have or have not shot with.
And it makes you want to buy them.
Yeah, I want that. Yeah. I want that. Yeah. This is the Spider. It's like the Stark, like Mark 1 or something like that.
All right.
That's from the 90s animated series. Yeah. I remember it like in the game, but I don't really remember too much of it from the animated series. But it's got such a cool look.
I remember having like the die-cast figure of this version of Spider-Man as a kid.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a cool looking figure, isn't it? Really nice.
Yeah. I do want a wide angle lens. Like
I'm like Zay, I'm a sucker for chrome.
Yeah.
I think that's the lens, Machu. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dang, it's so cool. I like the fact that it's this. I mean, obviously he made note that this is like his favorite spider suit, and so it ticks a lot of boxes for him. But it's nice just to see something different versus just kind of like the classic, like just red and blue Spidey.
Yeah.
And then I forgot, is this villain? What's his villain's name?
Hammerhead? No.
Yeah.
I
don't remember.
I think so, actually.
But it's cool to me seeing, being familiar with Spider-Man, but also just seeing something fresh and something different. I also like the webs that are there in the background. It tells you, kind of going back to story, seeing that and seeing like those wooden crates that are kind of all just like kind of just in the corner of the room, not stacked. It tells you that there's been kind of like a battle. They've been fighting maybe a little bit. And so
there's been a rumble. Yeah.
The rumble's already started and you're kind of catching maybe the end of it, or you're right in the middle of it. But that again just goes to that storytelling thing that I think sticks out to so many of us. And that's what really draws us into wanting to see the photo and then figure out what's actually happening as well.
Yeah. I really like how he posed the Spider-Man with like his other hand. The other hand actually cannot grasp like the figure's clothes, but just putting it in the right angle to make it look like he's got his collar.
I like
That's a great point.
I like the veins in the figure too, the one that's getting a pummeling, because that sense. I know it's the way it's like he really is in mortal danger or whatever. He's like gripping for dear life. Kind of works. It works really well. Yeah,
it's good stuff. I love that shot. That's really he does great work.
He does. He really does. I mean, it's quite simple for him. This is quite a basic one for him, but sometimes that's toy photography. Sometimes we try and reinvent the wheel. There's just you don't have to. It's right there. That's as good as it. It's powerful.
Yep. I agree. Great stuff, Dan. Keep doing what you're doing, because I always enjoy when his shots hit my feed, and there's been a lot of Spider-Man ones lately, so I'll take that and Star Wars all day. Okay, now we're down to the top 3. All right, so next one, number 3 is Dave, Black Bear Studios.
Look at that mosh pit action going on.
Mosh pit, yep.
We've I know actually the 3 of us. Let's see, we've talked to Dave. You guys have been on the show, and talked to him. Such a great guy.
He really is. Yeah.
He's awesome, and then also just he's doing the community with his live streams. He does interviews and talks to people, and focuses on the work that they do, and really helps build the community and highlights others in their work. And so it's cool that now we're able to kind of highlight what he's doing as well.
Yeah,
and a top 3 pick too.
Top 3, man. Can't beat
that.
No,
definitely. Yeah, I mean, you're right. He's a great guy. I love what he's about, and again, it's just wonderful picture. It just reminds me of the old days, the innocence of it, the fantastic posing, the atmosphere. Jose's gone. The atmosphere is brilliant. And I'm
Sponsored
interested
by
to know why all the
Linux.
different characters are in there too.
Yeah, I was curious which all, like, how many figures. This could work for maybe like the Figment. What was it? The 20 figures that we. That
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Almost could be good for that.
And what's cool about this is you got figures from all different IPs, like not just Spider-Man.
Well, that's why I
that's
picked
true.
it. It's the randomness of it, and I just love the haze is perfect. I've been to many gigs, as I'm sure you guys have, but it's just the right. And I just love the way some people are offset, looking away in the distance. Things, who knows what's going on? It's the whole club vibe. Again, I can hear the sound, the music.
Yeah. And Spider-Punk is like, he was like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it, even though Zay.
Some people may not have seen the movie, but
how's Zay doing? Is he all right? He dropped off.
I don't know what's happening for Zay, but
well, if he's not here, then I would say Spider-Punk was just amazing in the movie.
Right.
Yeah, super cool character.
He said if he's got to figure out his camera, you can bring him down.
Oh.
Take him out. It means he's just done. He's like, all right, I can figure out how to get you. Yeah, it's cool seeing all these different types of figures from different IPs. And I think he said, let's see, Multiverse Blowout is like the title of it. And so I think that was really nice. Okay, hear me out. I can smell this photo.
Yeah. No, there is definitely a lot of body odor going on in there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, he's right.
Booze, sweat, and smoke.
Yeah, it's great. Everyone's having a good time. You could. That's what I like about it. Yeah, you get the sense they're having a good time. It's not just figures posed. You know, I don't know. It's always clever when you turn that line of a load of toys in front of a camera to something organic. And I always love that about toy photography. It's incredible when you nail that vibe. It's the best.
Real quick, Paul. So whenever you shot, can you kind of think back? Like, what's the highest number of figures you've used in the photo?
I think it was that one. I did a shot. I don't remember this. It was a while back now. When the Crimson Stormtrooper came out, it was quite a big deal. I think it was some kind of a Comic-Con exclusive, or whatever. And so I had this idea that he would walk down a catwalk because he's so special. And then I had all the troopers at either side of the catwalk and everywhere. And I must have had about 70 in that one.
70?
Yeah. I've got the behind the scenes somewhere. It's insane. What I did is I just crammed them in. That was my initial thought. It was more playing than anything. I was being
Yeah.
No, you just play. So I thought, well, I put everyone in, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I'm seeing a picture here. And then I developed the catwalk, raised it up, and then I just filled it out with all the Empire. I had people behind the walls, everywhere you could see.
Actually.
Yeah, it was a while back. I'll have to dig it out, but it's that was a fun shot, and that was probably the most I've ever. And again, the dilemma of one dropping and the domino effect.
Did that happen?
Quite a lot of times.
Oh man,
it was awful.
That's the thing. Like, anytime I try to do a shot like that involves multiple characters, I'm just like, do I really want to do this?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, the one you did for that challenge, right, Jason? Wasn't it the gallery photo?
The gallery one, yeah.
That was hard.
Did you have any of those issues?
I think a couple of them, but for the most part, they weren't like super flimsy or anything. So they for the most part, they like stood up and didn't fall. But there might have been a couple times when I had like 3 or 4 like domino effects. But yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Man, I remember very, very early on, like I was still taking photos like outdoors. And there was this one photo that I took of Vader walking, and then behind him there was like 4 Lego stormtroopers.
Yeah.
And man, that was like the most frustrating photo I've ever taken, I feel like. Just because like they would constantly fall over. And this is the very beginning. Like I'm trying to figure things out for myself. And then it was just so frustrating. And it was like windy too. So I'm just like, why am I even out here like doing this? You know, like it's a recipe for disaster.
It really is. I mean, I used to be an outdoor photographer at the very start, and I used to have an issue with Arizona. The heat is so extreme. The figures start to melt, okay, and they bend, and so you cannot even get any rigidity. It's just like they just literally, it was like driving me crazy. I just remember sweating out there one day and thinking, again, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
But then you just keep doing it, and you get something eventually. It's amazing. So
yeah, well, hats off to Dave for this, because it's not just troopers that are just standing at attention, but they have their arms up. So there's a lot of balancing and kind of creative placement that obviously can take place here. So nice. Okay, so should we get into number 2?
Yep, sure.
Coming
What's
up,
number
all right.
2?
And number 2 is Mighty Lens 7.
Oh, that is sweet.
This is cool.
He had a couple in there.
I was going to say, what's cool is there were other people who had multiple submissions as well. And to see, a lot of times when you're just going through them, I don't necessarily stop and think, oh, this person put 2 or 3 into the competition or submissions or whatever. A lot of times I'm just looking at them just for what they are. And then I'm like, oh, actually, this is 3 are from the same person. But when you're looking at it without being intentionally like trying to figure out who it was by, sometimes you kind of get surprised. But the Mighty Lens 7 did at least 2, and they were really great shots. So tell us about this one.
Yeah, this really, I love this. It's beautiful. I love the symmetry of it. Obviously, that hits you straight away. But the thing for me, I love the emptiness of it too. I like the idea of falling. It has more meaning than just the actual what he's trying to convey. I just kind of like the emptiness. It's almost, I don't know, dystopian. It's like I don't want to get too dark or deep, but it's just like almost depressed. Like, not depressing is the wrong word, but just if you're empty and falling, that sense of hopelessness.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it just has a bit of that. It has that pathos. I don't know. It's just something about it. It got me. But not to have a downer on it. But I just love the beautiful color choices and the way they did it. And it could be anywhere as well. Like, I feel like it. I don't know. It just has that. It's hard to explain. It's almost anime feel, a bit anime. I don't know. It's just. I just
looks
love it.
like an illustration.
Yeah, I love the way you can see the lace. I know that might just be on the figure, but the lace.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know that should be falling, but it could be the other way around. This whole image could be flipped. I don't know. It just struck me that, so I just found it very interesting. I'd like to know more about how he came up with it, really, or he or she.
Is there behind the scenes for this?
Yes. So the behind the scenes shows, it's a digirama background, and then a glass mirror.
Oh, wow.
Or a mirror, yeah.
Right.
Wow, that's cool.
And so that's really interesting because it looks, if you were going to just crop it from where that reflection starts and then it looks kind of like the movie poster.
Yeah.
And so that it was really nice. It looks like there was a little bit more based on the BTS, probably took a little bit of the scaling down and reduced that because the figure's much bigger in the BTS, like closer to the camera. But I don't know, I could be wrong. But it looks like very much like the poster. But I do like how we've taken and reflected that, so there's not really like a ground to it. So it does feel like it just could continuously be falling.
It's infinity,
yeah. That's a really interesting approach. I probably would have done it a little differently, or my mind sometimes thinks very logically. And so to do something like this,
you would have like 6 layers of glass, Jason. Is that what you would do?
Yeah.
It's a little Inception, but again, I go back to Inception. I love that kind of idea. It could be a dream-like state you're in when you see these kind of pictures, and when you're falling in those dreams, it's like a bit like that. I know it's geared to the movie and everything, but it's just, I don't know. It has other meaning to me. I don't know, I just love it. The color palette as well. I like the muted and the color. It reminds me of Japan a bit too. That kind of skyline. I love it.
Yeah,
brilliant.
It's super beautiful. I think it is kind of inspired by the poster. I think I totally get what you're saying, Paul. It kind of has that juxtaposition of like the craziness of the city and then the peacefulness of like the sky, and you're just falling. And then when he adds in that layer of the kind of Inception upside down building thing, you can get real deep into the, like, is he just falling in this endless floating city? It's really cool.
Poetic.
Yes.
Yeah, it was very close to my number one. it was difficult.
The other thing I do like about this too is just the framing.
Yeah.
Because the scale of, I think he did actually scale it down because I can kind of, from a person who spends a lot of time in Photoshop, I think
you can see that content aware.
Yeah,
you're gonna say
a little bit. So that's only because I'm staring at it. But what I like is it actually scaled that down because it makes everything feel that much more grand in that.
Yeah.
No, dude, that's just smoke from the city.
Exactly. It's his aura, right, or something. And I really just like that composition where it's dead center into the frame, black silhouette, and then you've got all this really hard, the texture, the metal and the buildings and those structures are very rigid, and they also kind of make this nice, almost like infinity in a sense, like a bow tie or infinity shape. It's just it's really like striking, and I think it works well.
Yeah. So, I feel like you could just do this in like Photoshop, like everything, right? But he decided to do it practically, like to some extent,
Yeah.
Which that's why
somebody needs to
surprised.
make a diorama like that. I need that diorama. Like that looks
dude,
like
you
that.
need like a entire room.
I know. You need so much depth. It's incredible, wouldn't it?
That would be insane with all like little like fiber optic lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was one other shot that he did that was of Hobie and like in a really cool like guitar like pose, and that was more practical. So it's cool to see the diversity that some photographers are and artists are just like trying to do different things and see. Maybe it's not necessarily like the style always determines what they create, or they're not necessarily limited by the skills or the preferences they have, like how they like to shoot. But I love seeing the diversity of how artists try to do different things or try different mediums or learn different skills or techniques and see what happens. So this is a really cool one. Okay.
Number one.
So number one
for the pin.
Numero uno.
Yeah. So we can announce that too. So we decided that for this challenge, because it's Spider-Man themed, which there's no coincidence whatsoever. It's completely coincidence, I should say. Not planned. The winner is going to receive the Spider-Man Spider Guy pin, because it's not actually Spider-Man.
No.
So yeah, you get to choose who number one is, and so without further ado, let's see who won that pin. Toy plus me _story.
Plus me
That's
story.
exactly number one.
Toy
this
plus
is cool.
me.
This is almost like a twofer, isn't it?
Yeah, you might find that it's an interesting choice for me, but it's now I looked on his feed, and what it is, he actually chose two pictures. He'd done this picture before and then put them together. So I'd be interested to know when it made that choice. But for me, I just love the juxtaposition of the two. It just works so well. The night and the day. It's very striking to me. It's artistic. It's many levels. It can be flipped the other way. But again, you could argue simple compared to the other ones in terms of, all the things other people did. But for me, there's a lot going on here. Good choices. Just interest. It's just interesting to me. It's something different I've not seen before. So that's pretty much what it was. So.
Yeah, I think what struck me about this is that, Zay, you should just go now, or we can kick you out, because I don't want to spoil anything. No, but really, what's great is leading up, and you should know this. Like with the second story, they're older, and so all of I would say that a lot of the themes going through across the Spider-Verse, it's about their relationship to one another, but also to the world around them and where they fit in, and the voice, and them trying to understand who they are, what they stand for, what they believe in. And so to me, with the new movie, I saw it more like the story is really it's really heavy, because there's so many, like, the world's not black and white. There's so many like gray choices that you can make, and it's not just a right or wrong or this or that. And so for me, when I see shots like this, I'm bringing what I know about the characters into these figures, and taking and just shooting them in this way, like it just takes a different meaning. And so to me, this is really more about story that I respond well to, but also doing Digirama and having them completely as far as like the color, it feels like Gwen's kind of like maybe it's like kind of dusk or something, and then Miles, it's night. Like just having that contrast is really cool, and also it just feels like they're apart, but they're thinking about one another. So there's a lot of really great storytelling here with the simplicity of the image.
Yeah, you nailed it, Jason. Yeah, that's what I said. His story, he put the story in a simple shot, and I think that's fantastic. It's and the sadness of it too. There's a little sadness, tinge of sadness to it, but also happiness as well. You could look at it either way, night and day type thing. Yeah, brilliant. Very good.
Man, Zay, I wish you'd seen it because we could just kind of talk about it more, but it's so good. It's so good.
I wish I would have seen it too, Jason, but you didn't invite me. So
take your kiddos and watch it.
No, I know. I have no excuse. So I was fully expecting to actually be spoiled way worse than, there was no spoilers. So I was ready for it. I know how it works.
Yeah.
But I do love this image. I think kind of like just along what you guys were saying, it's simple in execution, but it's got a lot of deep meaning and a lot of depth behind it. And so it's just really intriguing. And it's one of those images you kind of look at and you just kind of look at it longer and longer and it makes you think. And so I think it's really cool. It's a great choice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's the Gwen's like head turn for me that's like conveys a lot of emotion there, or just something. It's like the sixth sense that she has that something's going on with Miles or something like that or vice versa.
It would have been kind of cool. The shot works as it is. It would have been kind of cool if you almost had where Miles, you saw his back and he was looking off to the side but the opposite direction.
Yeah.
So then it really does feel like
they're looking or thinking of each other from different places or whatever.
But completely opposite. So that's really cool. I loved it. This is actually, I was surprised that this was your number one pick, but I also was like, I can understand why. And also seeing as we worked through up to number one, seeing how story and how composition and like all those things go together to make a photo. And obviously there's so many different criteria you could judge anything, let alone the photography challenge that we're doing. There's so many different things you can bring into it. And so I love that you really focused on the things that mattered most to you and were able to see all those through every photo, but also recognize that every single photo that was submitted, like there's something really great and special about it.
Oh, everyone I could talk about. As well, I looked at the size of the accounts as well and how they're up and coming people, and I put that into effect too of how great these small accounts are. People got to get over the number thing. It doesn't matter about if you have thousands of you're talented. There's talented people out there, amazing artists, phenomenal, and we all deserve a bit of sunshine. And it was part of my criteria too, without being too sentimental. But no, I love storytelling, and these orange colors they spoke to me too. I love that. I love those orange and purples.
Orange and purple, I find myself using that a lot too. It works really well together.
It does.
So Toy Plus Me _story is going to get this pin. So we'll be in contact and make sure we got to connect with you. I think you're overseas, but we'll connect with you and try to figure out how to get it to you and make sure it arrives on your doorstep. But we're excited to have had so many people just submit and enjoy these challenges. Hopefully everybody kind of look through the other submissions. If you go through and look at Figment 5 and see who's tagged us, that's really the best way to find them. The hashtags do not work. So I think we should just say don't even use a hashtag anymore because they're kind of worthless. But amazing stuff. This is so fun to be able to also sit down and talk about other people's work and highlight everyone in the community.
It's fun.
So we want to continue doing that. we obviously didn't have enough time. This would have been like a 3-hour stream if we went through everybody's photos. So as I said at the very beginning, if you're still with us, we're going to go through and look at all of them, and like we've done in the past, but we'll do that on another, either a stream or a separate video, because there were so many submissions that were like, we want to highlight them and talk about them, just because they're worth it. And we know you guys put a lot of time into all these shots, like we all do. So we love you. We're so thankful that you enjoy all these different challenges that we're putting forth, and also, you know, supporting through buying the pins. But
Yes.
yeah, man, Paul, it's so good to have you. It's been a while since we've chatted face to face.
Yeah, it's been
This is
great.
the perfect forum to do it, I think.
No, this is wonderful seeing you guys all together. And I'm sorry I can't see nobody in the chat, so I'm not ignoring anybody.
Oh, yeah.
This is my first time on YouTube ever, so it's like I'm a rookie. But it's incredible. It really is, and you're doing wonderful things. This will grow and grow. This channel, I know it will. And yeah, it's absolutely magnificent, and it's very surreal seeing you all like this. It's kind of weird, but I really enjoyed it, and critiquing people's work is absolutely so much fun, because I think we all should do it, because we all have these thoughts, don't we, about our own work, and it's so lovely to look at someone else's perspective on toy photography. It either inspires you or it just gives you those some information about what you could do or maybe try, or just be brave. You know, I'm you know me, I'm an experimenter. I fail a lot, but you gotta fail to succeed. So
Right.
So yeah, it's amazing. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Appreciate the.
Of course. Was there anything? Was there anything you want to talk about? Anything you got coming up that we should keep an eye out for? Or any shots you're planning on doing?
I'm just there's a lot in the pipeline. Like I said, I've been working a lot of custom work. I've got all kinds of stuff going on, and hopefully I will start. It's like I've kind of frozen a little bit the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. It's not mental block or anything like that. I just got, life is literally, like Zay was saying, it's taken over. I don't know what's going on in the world, but my toy photography time has got smaller and smaller and smaller, and my projects are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just can't get to them, and I'm it's really frustrating, and I almost want to take a vacation just to do some toy photography.
Yeah,
right.
But that sounds silly, but yeah, so yeah, I've got a lot of projects coming up. I'm hoping to start a YouTube channel at some point as well. You guys have inspired me on that. And Dwayne Shoots Toys is going to be my first guest. He's agreed to that. So
Man,
nice.
Yes, that's cool. I want to deep dive with him so much, like just really get into his process and all the rest of it. And he can give a lot of advice to everybody, as he always does. As you know, he's a gem. And obviously, I'll have you guys on as well at some point, and everybody.
Yeah, dude.
I just feel I should do those fireside chats a bit more in this format. It's more professional. I think you get more value, and it can just grow naturally and what have you.
Yeah.
But yeah, tune in and anytime, and I'll always be doing something.
Awesome. Well, I always love when I see a photo of yours pop up.
Thank you.
And I love that you always, like, instead of just doing one photo, you're doing like 7 different photos from the same session. I love that.
I just have so many in the shot. I just can't throw them away.
Yeah.
I want to see that process. Like, I want to, like, if you're going to do a YouTube channel, like, I want to see you actually
do that.
go through a session of yours.
Yeah.
Because I feel like you have some of the most fun that you can have, like probably taking photos, because you capture a lot of it, you know.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, I think people would be interested. It's kind of, I don't want to give any too much secrets or everything. It's just that, but I'm kind of it's kind of insane. It's like I get a lot from my shoot, and sometimes I don't even know how I got it. But I don't know, but I think Tom talks about this too. I enjoy the editing afterwards. I like to get all the raw data. You know, all the different angles, all the different shots, things that don't work, do work, might work. And then I can go deep into it and start. And it's amazing what you can produce after as well. If providing you've got, a lot of filmmakers do this, you know, they'll take you know, multiple shots of the scene, and they'll find the best one because they've had 5 or 6 goes at it. So I don't just laser focus on the one shot on the tripod. I don't know if anyone knows this, but every one of my shots is handheld. I use any tripod.
It's impressive.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it's all handheld, old school, through the eyepiece. I was taught that way. I learned
That's
that
cool.
way. Yeah, so it's kind of, people might get a kick out of that, seeing that. Sometimes I don't even look. I'm a bit like Austin Powers. I'm not even looking. So yeah, no,
Wow.
it's pretty crazy.
Nice.
You know
But it
what?
worked.
You know what I found out? Who else does that? D Amazing does that as well, I think.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's
Impressive.
you have to have some bright lights, dude, to like be able to shoot indoors
Yeah.
without, you know what I mean? Like
All of my pictures would be like super grainy.
mine would be like blurry. You wouldn't even be able to see anything.
I have 3 of them. No, well, that's something I discovered actually over time. I have a load, obviously, the Lume cubes and what have you, but I did notice you do need more light if you want to create some of the stuff that I want to do with the atmosphere. So I've just got big. My light setup's got crazier and crazier. It's sometimes I have about like 17 lights going on. Sometimes.
Dang, that electricity, but no.
For one shoot.
Yeah. So, but it's all experimental. Just been doing it over the years, and just to get that, my style has been developing over those years because of it. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We can all learn from you, man. That's impressive.
Well, you can learn from everybody. That's what I love about this place. I think everybody. Everybody's got something to offer everybody. It really is great.
That's true. Well, thanks for coming on and being our guest judge. You did an awesome job. We appreciate it. Obviously, it gives us an opportunity to catch up with you personally, but then a chance for everybody here in the chat and everybody who's watching afterwards to get to know you a little better.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah,
thank you.
We really appreciate you. We're so glad that our paths crossed as many years ago as they did, and you're a great friend, man.
Yeah, you're all. I love you all equally.
We were honored to have you.
No favorites.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thanks, Paul. We hope that we get to see some more of your shots pretty soon, handheld or not.
Yes.
And appreciate everybody else for jumping in on the chat. And like I said, be on the lookout for another video where we'll go through the other submissions and just give a couple of our thoughts on them. But yeah, we appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by.
No worries.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Paul. Love you, man.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, great to see you. See you, everybody. Take care.
We'll see you all later.